to the Dr. Grant Show. I am very pleased and super excited to bring our current special guest to you. Her name is Jessica. I have admittedly a backstory. I've been knowing Jessica for quite a number of years, and I have been watching and seeing her grow, blossom, develop, and come and step fully into her feminine power. But the reason why I have brought her with us today is she is an expert in Reiki. Now, when I first came across Reiki back in the 90s, I felt a instant connection to it. But at the same time, like some people that I talk to, a little bit of fear and trepidation. There are a lot of myths surrounding Reiki, despite the benefits of it. So fast forward now, years and decades later, and Reiki is showing great promise. There are tons of scientific studies mounting and escalating evidence day and night showing about how viable Reiki is as a complement to modern medicine and treatments. So I'm happy because I wasn't wrong. But I don't have the training. I don't have the stories. I don't have the experience, but I have someone that does. So I introduce to you Jessica, and she's going to tell you more about Reiki and how she's transformed people's lives and maybe debunk a couple of myths about Reiki as well. Take it away.
Yeah, yes. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor and a gift for you to think so highly of me when it comes to energy work and Reiki. I do consider it something that I'm really passionate about, and it's been a journey for sure. We were kind of talking before this show started, but there's definitely been a lot of evolving to get to this point of me feeling confident in doing this work. And I think that's comes with anyone really wanting to step into their purpose work and doing things that may be a little bit different than what everyone else is doing, right? So yeah, so it's been a beautiful journey, and I'm really grateful to be here. Thank you.
Good, good. So how did you fall in love with Reiki?
It's a great question. So a friend of mine, I was at a networking event, and she had mentioned that she does Reiki and she does energy work. And I feel like that was like the first time I've actually showed interest in or even being open to what it was. Um, Especially with me being brought up in a very strict faith home, that was kind of not looked at something that was even something I considered, really honestly. But because I was on this path of really my own spiritual path, like rewriting my beliefs and what was my truth, I was more open to different things. I was more open to learning about what energy work is. And I was very attracted to certain things, right? And I always feel like that's a sign, right? Like when we're like having that little pull or that little guidance towards something. And so I instantly was like, hey, what is Reiki? Like, I want to learn about this, right? I want to do a session. So I did one with her, and it was a remote Reiki session. And I remember feeling a little weird about it because I was like, I'm not really sure what to expect. And, I've heard things about it, and I'm like, is this like the devil's work? Am I like getting into like, that whole thing? And I didn't feel that at all. Like when I just remember feeling very just rested and just calm, after my first session. And after that, I said, I just know there's more to this. Like, I need to know more about this. So that's when I asked her, hey, do you teach, about Reiki? And I want to learn about it. I want to help people. And I just loved her energy, like the practitioner, the Reiki master. She just had this like thing about her, like this glow and this presence, and I just adored her, and I barely even knew her. And it was just one of those people that, when you're attracted to, you just like love their energy, you want to be around them. And she was one of those people. So so fast forward to now, I went through the whole Reiki training with her. I did Reiki level 1. I said, oh, that's not enough. I want to do 2. So I went all the way to master level. And yeah, that's basically how I got started. And I was already on a path with coaching. So I was kind of like a new modality that I was infusing into what I was doing. And at the time, I was doing a lot of manifestation principles and teaching about that as I was starting into my coaching. So that's kind of how I got started.
Now, you mentioned manifestation principles, and I know that some people have mixed feelings about manifestation. Some people have tried it. Here are the 3 camps that I found.
Mhm.
Some people have tried manifestation and it worked splendidly, great. Other people have tried it and it didn't really work out the way that they expected, or it didn't produce enough. And then there are people that it just flat out was a dud and it didn't work at all. I imagine that there is a common thread of energy that may lie at, or at least contribute to, the reason why manifestation did or did not work for certain people.
Mhm.
You have any thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think a lot of it is there's one thing is that you have to have faith. You have to, it's not something that you just look at it and it's like, that this is going to happen. Like you have to have this undeniable faith that this or something better is going to happen, right? And I do believe that there's a lot of deep rooted subconscious beliefs that a lot of us have that kind of sway us from having that faith, right? So it could just be like experiences that we've had in life, or it could be we've been disappointed or we've been let down, right? And we have all these different feelings that come into play, right?
Mhm.
And we get disappointed and we think, oh, it's not working. And it's like, I'm broken. I'm not worthy. I can't have what I want. And then we start putting all the blame on ourselves, right? And totally block the manifestation. So I feel like it's really, um, it requires faith. Requires consistency. It requires action, right? And it's not just the principles of like the spiritual, but it's the movement. Is our embodiment, right? So there's a lot of different layers I think that go along with that people miss out. It's, you have to, sometimes it may not be the way that you exactly want it to happen, and there might be something better than that, right? So we get to release these stories and just trust, right? So I do think that a lot of times people experience those blocks for sure.
I agree with you. I have explored manifestation. I find it interesting because of the intersection that I feel that it shares with psychology. And well, my whole life has been dedicated, as well as thousands of dollars in student loans with the non-degree in health psychology. So I kind of had to take the dive. But here's what I found. You mentioned about the subconscious mind, and I believe that to be completely true. And there are also clinical studies that talk about the effect of not only the subconscious mind but the conscious mind, and how this plays into manifestation is, like you mentioned, faith, but it also plays into our human energy fields. If we are radiating, even if we think that we're radiating belief that,
Mhm.
yes, I am going to, let's take relationships, for example. I'm going to find that perfect person for me this year. But you go on a friendly chat, coffee chat with someone, and inside, in here, in your heart, there's this little drunken hamster in the corner of your brain saying, you are not good enough.
Mhm.
How could they be truly attracted to you? What could they possibly see in you? What is so special about you? Scientific studies, I'm happy to say, in terms of this discovery, have actually tracked the energy field as well as the human chakras, which is a whole nother conversation. For those people that thought the chakras was woo-woo, for example,
Mhm.
scientific studies have actually shown that the chakras can be measured.
Mhm.
as well as the changes in them. So
Mhm.
your energy field that, and Jessica, correct me if I'm wrong on anything that I'm saying here,
Mhm.
expands about 6 feet past your body.
Mhm.
And when it intersects with someone else and you are emitting at your heart and your core that you're not good enough, or a wee bit of desperation, even without saying a word, you're pushing that person away. And what winds up happening here is, once again, correct me if I'm totally off track here, it is a self-fulfilling prophecy of you feeling that you're not lovable.
Mm, I love this so much. I'm so glad you brought this up because this has been something I've been on my mind lately is that, yes, because our energy is everything
Mm,
when it comes to this, right? When it comes to receiving, when it comes to acceptance, when we are at low vibration, right? It's so felt, right? And just like how I said about, the Reiki master I met, I felt her energy. Like I knew that she was someone I wanted to be around, right? So we all have people like that that we kind of feel magnetized toward, and it's our aura, right? We've got our aura that is radiating, right? And through the energy work, we're able to kind of move through that because either we have good aura or we have bad aura. And that comes back to the key, right? The life force energy, which is Reiki. When we're talking about Reiki, it's
mm,
life force energy.
mm,
Um, so when we have low key, right, that also our low key is also affected by our thoughts,
yes.
our the way we look at ourselves, right, and view ourselves. So when you think about it, when someone has low key, how they're showing up, their body language, right? They may be very slouched down. They may be very, they may not talk very confidently, right? They just might have this so we have the chakras that are blocked, right? So that key that in the throat is blocked, right? Or it might just be in the sacral. They're not open to expressing themselves, right? So we've got that mirror of the throat and the sacral. Um, and how they work together. So this is why it's so powerful when we're able to help our clients move through that key, that energy, and we do it through other sources, not just through Reiki. We've got yoga, we have sound healing. Like there's a lot of key in that too. But yes, I agree 100% that if our energy is not right, like it's felt for sure, and we can miss out on that manifestation. But it's not like that we're broken or anything. It's just that we're in that state. It's a state that we choose to put ourselves in, right? And we get to choose. Do I
Mhm.
want to stay in this state, or do I choose to look at the situation and think, how can I shift this? How can I view myself differently as I'm trying to get that love in my life? How can I start shifting more self-love for myself?
Mhm.
Right? Or how can I start embodying? So maybe taking yourself out on date, and even just that, you start to radiate a little bit more love right into your heart. Oh, like I'm so proud of myself for taking myself out on a date. Like, oh, I feel like, that was just really nice. Right. So even that, right, you could see the difference in the energy, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does. And since for me, my wellness practice centers around serving stressed emotional eaters, food addicts, people that binge at night or just binge period, or people that are trying to lose weight, because often they don't always overlap. What I've been finding, and this is like a puzzle to me, and that's why I'm so enamored of Reiki and why I wanted you on the show. For people that struggle with these issues, I feel Reiki is very essential because it affects your energy. It helps you get more in tune with, once again, correct me if I'm wrong, it helps you get more in tune with your energy. It helps you get more in tune with just intrinsically, intuitively, what it is that you might need. Now, it may not trumpet you over the head, but even just having more of a glimmer of self-awareness helps lessen the perceived stress levels that usually trigger bouts of binging and emotional eating and stress eating, the closer you get to understanding what it is that you need.
Mm, yeah. It's so funny because with Reiki, how it works is Reiki knows where it needs to go. So it knows where it needs to support the client. So if they are struggling with the eating disorder or some type of eating imbalance, with maybe indigestion, It's funny because you would think the Reiki practitioner might put their hands over their solar plexus area. And you might think, okay, maybe this is where there's a blockage here. But however, when you're doing the actual scan of the body, your hands intuitively as a practitioner might be guided to go somewhere else first, right? And it may not be the solar plexus, it might be the heart.
Mm,
Maybe they're just dealing with a lot of emotional like hurt in their energy, right?
mm,
So we are working on softening the energy, clearing that from the different layers of the energy field. So there's 3 layers that Reiki works through.
mm,
That's the aura, the meridian points, and the chakras.
mm,
So we're working on just the outside aura, and then the energy actually moves through that and even to the actual tissues and the physical organs of the body. So
mm,
it works on the energetic body and the physical body.
mm,
So first working on the energetic and then moving down to the physical. So
mm,
maybe the energy might clear at the heart and then it's sending me to go to the solar plexus.
mm.
So it really, I don't know, like it's whatever I'm
Yeah.
being guided to during the session,
Mm,
and it might relieve that stress, or that indigestion, and might just help that person to feel more relief. Maybe they've just been feeling just sluggish, and having that key to move the energy through it so that they could start creating better habits for themselves, to eat better, or to just really feel more healthier, because that's really what the energy is for, is so that they feel more vitality, more energy. They're able to just be at their optimized health in a sense.
And I imagine, once again, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this since you are the expert,
Mhm.
it will take sometimes more than one session, I imagine, because it's like layers of an onion. You peel back one layer and you think you've got that solved, but then something else was kind of brewing beneath. And now we need to take a look at that.
Yes, I agree. And it's just like any practice that we do, right? So if we were doing an EFT session, doing one session would be really beneficial. But when we really have a deep rooted belief, right, that we're trying to shift, we're going to do more than one session, right? We're going to tap every day to move through that. So it's the same thing with energy work, is that, I always feel that Reiki works over time. So if there's something that you're really wanting support on, to reduce stress, to reduce pain, or even just beliefs that you have, deep rooted beliefs, or you're wanting to just feel more at peace. Doing more than one session is definitely going to benefit you.
Mhm.
And it also really works over time, like even after the session. So after you have a session, the Reiki will still be flowing and supporting you afterwards. And I've had a lot of clients say, they feel more grounded, they feel more able to handle stress better, able to really have not as much anxiety. So it's proven for that, to have those type of results.
Okay. And there's anyone that couldn't use the opportunity to have less stress and less anxiety, or at least be able to process it a lot better. Here's a good question for you. There are a lot of Reiki practitioners out compared to when I first encountered it back in the 90s.
Mhm.
If a person is looking for the best Reiki practitioner for them, how would one go about choosing a Reiki practitioner?
It's a great question. So basically, what I would do is, first of all, learn about what Reiki is if you can. Find a practitioner that will give you information about what it is and the benefits of it. Also, just finding someone that you resonate with, because I think that a lot of practitioners all practice differently. There are some practitioners that are just more seasoned too. You have ones that have been doing it for a little bit longer, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be someone that's been doing it for 20 years, but you can still just find someone that you feel comfortable with. And I think that's important, because you're going to be, spending time with that practitioner. Also, there are different associations that you can find out that if that Reiki practitioner is accredited through the Reiki Healing Association, for example, that we do like professional development or some type of certificate that we get for being credentialed. You always want to make sure that the practitioner has knowledge of like the skills and is embodying it. I think that's important too,
Yeah.
because it's one thing to just say you do Reiki, but are you actually living it and embodying it? So I think that's important too, to have that.
Question. You mentioned something about time in terms of spending time together. How long is a typical Reiki session?
So it really depends on how long the client's needing or wanting. I
Mhm.
do 30-minute sessions, and also 60-minute sessions.
Mhm.
And usually if someone just wants like a shorter, like a tune up in a sense to kind of tune up their chakras, if we can do like a shorter session.
Mhm.
Sometimes I have male clients that want to come and they enjoy the longer time,
Mhm.
because it just kind of, the energy just starts to really soak in and they just feel so relaxed.
Mhm.
So that extra long period of time gives them that rest that they need.
Mhm.
But typically they run between 30 to 60 minutes for a session.
Hmm. Is there anyone that you could ever imagine that should not pursue Reiki?
I don't think so. I would always, advise and check with your physician, your doctor,
Mhm.
never use Reiki to replace any medical treatment or anything like that. I always recommend that. But to use maybe just in addition to like what you're getting done, could really help as well. Because I know a lot of physicians will say, yeah, that's absolutely fine, for you to get that support
Mhm.
with Reiki after having some conditions or having medical care and that kind of thing.
Okay, that's good. That's definitely good to know because sometimes, depending upon the modality of
Mhm.
uh, complement alternative medicine, CAM is something it used to be called as well. Certain modalities, certain people can't participate in. So it sounds to me like Reiki, once again, I agree with you, not to be used as a substitute for medical advice or opinion or treatment, but it can be an excellent integrative approach or an excellent complement to it.
Yes, absolutely.
If someone is enamored of working with you and they are just really feeling your energy, they want to pursue either a Reiki session with you or even become a Reiki master themselves, do you have any programs that someone might be interested in looking you up?
Mhm. Yes, I do. So I have Reiki School, which is a 2-day course that I offer. We do Reiki level 1 and 2. I also will be offering Reiki Master soon. So if you're interested in becoming a Reiki Master, that will be coming very shortly. But I also have a program called the Sovereign Feminine. It's actually one of my favorite programs I ever made. It's a 6-week course for a woman who want to make an impact, who are wanting to serve and use their gifts and to do things in the feminine way. Because I know for me, I was very much in a masculine energy for a very long time, which led to burnout, to stress. And I'm all about manifesting with ease. I'm all about doing it with pleasure. So I help my clients to get attuned to Reiki, and then they also learn like a lot of feminine leadership principles and embodiment to empower them in their personal growth and walk. So those are the couple of programs I have.
Now that sounds good. So if anyone is looking to check her out, which by the way, Jessica, where can they find you?
Well, thank you for asking. So you can find me over on Instagram. I'm usually always over there at Jessica Schugardt, and my website, jessicaschugardt.com.
Okay. So there you have it, guys. If you are looking to even have a good chat with Jessica about Reiki, you've learned in the course of this time that we've shared together what Reiki is about, who it's for, how you can benefit, which we're only just scratching the surface. So it sounds like we're going to need to have you back to discuss maybe even a couple of client stories. I'm sure you have tons of them. But you also learned that It is also a scientifically proven tool that's been proven to be quite effective in scientific studies. I myself have been absolutely amazed and astounded, yet pleasantly pleased at the emerging science showing that it is viable for helping people ranging with symptoms of anxiety, symptoms of depression, needing to lighten their mood. Once again, like Jessica said, if you want to pursue it, you don't use Reiki as a substitute for medical treatment. It is a wonderful complement to your current treatment plan. All right, guys. Jessica, I'm so glad that you spent some time with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I'd love to do it again.
I think we will have you back on because there's a lot of potential here. And I would love to actually have you sound off a bit more on some of the things that you've even seen so far as great ingenious discoveries I've been seeing on the scientific side with Reiki. I'm pretty elated about it.
Oh yeah, there's so much to go into. Like we haven't even, yeah, for sure,
Yeah, we
scratched
haven't.
the surface. We just barely scratched the surface of it.
Still haven't scratched the surface of this. You just got the training wheels on Reiki for people that are unfamiliar.
Yeah. No, and that's good because some people have like it's really new to them. So that's, it's perfect.
I agree. All right, guys. Thank you for watching us on the Dr. Grant Show. My name is Dr. Kirsten Grant. We can be found all over social media, from Facebook to Instagram to episodes on Pinterest to LinkedIn to YouTube. You take your pick. We also will be moving to TV soon. So stay tuned. We are on for our professional edition with LinkedIn on Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And for the main Dr. Grant Show, that is on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Everyone, thank you so much. Past and future episodes can be found on edibleaddiction.com. Much love to you. Bye.